Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 8 12 15. I know some of the regulars are thinking, oh, well, we know all this. We've heard this information a million times, but there's a slight change this week. Because you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio.
Oh, I like that. It's quite snappy.
Changed. Nice. And it's good if ever I move into minicab work, I'll be able to keep that.
Yeah.
So, don't forget, if there's this is for the Twitterati.
Yeah.
Oh, sigh.
I'm the gatekeeper of the Twitterati. You two will have no truck with them.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't think it makes them intrinsically bad. It just makes them sheep-like followers.
No, in fact, some of our most incisive comments and observations are from them. For example, par exemplar, Macaborn Smith has tweeted us, Frank on the Radio, Frank's toes curling as Dermot interviews Miss Piggy.
Well, he was right about that, because on last night's Comic Relief, I think I've said on here before, one of my absolute pet hates is people talking to Miss Piggy in an interview as if it's a real person.
Yeah.
And it came on last night, and I said to my girlfriend, oh my God, they're going to do that thing. And she said, I don't know what your problem is with it. And I said, well, one of the things is that if it's a bloke, he feels he has to flirt with what is essentially foam latex. And, of course, he did exactly that.
Oh,
he flirted, and she was off with the woman, which is what she always is. It's a terrible, desolate experience. Money was raised, but, if they'd have asked me, if they'd have said, look, Miss Piggy's going to raise £220,000,
yeah,
I'd say, I'll send you 230, don't have her on. But they didn't ask me.
See, they could really cut out a whole month of television if they just asked the celebrities that do the programme to give a bit more in order to not do bits that they don't like. That would save us all having to watch it as well, wouldn't it?
Well, I think they raised 75 million last night.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carr could have done that at a stroke.
Well,
and he would have been, at last, he would have been even with the government. But no, instead, we have to, don't get me wrong, there was many marvellous things on last night, but I cannot tolerate the interviewing of Miss Piggy in any context.
Does it extend to all puppets, Frank? Did you have similar views, for example, about Zig and Zag?
No, well, Zig and Zag were all right. There's something about...
No one flirted with them, did they?
Every Miss Piggy interview is exactly the same. It's based on her being talking off as if she's an amazing big star. They haven't acknowledged the decline of the Muppets in any way. They never say...
I like you object on the grounds for not being quite A-list enough.
But it's always a bit awkward when you see... I've been in this position myself, when you're interviewed as if you're still a big star. They used to be on telly every week. They have the odd movie now. And that ought to be brought up. I want to see, if they're going to interview her, let's get down to nitty-gritty. Let's hear her talking about how it feels to not get the amount of fan mail and stuff.
Got a tear duct in the puppets.
I don't know. Do pigs actually cry? About real pigs.
Is that the phrase? Do pigs cry? I think it's do pigs fly, isn't it?
No, but pigs cry?
That's a Prince song, I think you'll find.
Do Pigs Cry is the title of my... Do Pigs Cry? On tour with Frank Skinner. Yeah, so...
you did your bit, Frank, for Comic Relief.
I did. No, not on the night.
Oh.
No. Oh, you didn't do the night.
No,
yeah, you were part of the preamble.
I'm part of the preamble, yeah.
Well, more importantly, you made it... Never mind all that. You made it onto the Daily Mail sidebar of shame, which was a very proud moment for me.
Yeah, but
you were about third up as well, which they do it in terms of popularity.
Do they?
Yeah. You were right up the top.
Is that a journalism fact?
Yes,
do you know that for
yes,
a fact? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but what is it about people kissing that's seen as a massive...
For those that don't know, we need to say what you did, Frank.
I kissed a man and I didn't much care for it. I think would that have gone as a Katy Perry song?
You kissed Greg Davis.
I kissed Greg Davis. The show was going so badly that we went to the...
I don't agree.
We went to the crisis rescue Comic Relief moment, which is two people kissing who you think would never normally kiss.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be actually a bit unkind, because if, say, for example, Dawn French kisses Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
The audience scream and whoop, and we all know that the undercurrent of that is that, God, Hugh Grant would never normally kiss anyone who looked like that.
Yeah.
It's actually quite cruel.
It is, yeah.
And two men would normally kiss. Little bit outdated.
Yeah.
I think the kissing on Comic Relief, it reveals the dark side of the British public.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? I think you suited it. I think if you didn't have such a fabulous and beautiful life partner, I think you looked comfortable.
I've always thought I'd be happy as a homosexualist. I mean, some of the nuts and bolts I might find a little difficult at first, but there's lots of things about it. I like the idea. I like the neatness and keeping
neatness.
yourself smart and clean.
And you think you'd get that with Greg Davies?
No, well, I don't know if he'd be the right partner.
Well, he's too tall for all of us. You had what I have, Frank, that syndrome, like a monkey climbing up a tree.
Well,
Because you were clinging on to him.
It's how I imagine the Crankies must kiss, because he literally raised me into the air.
Oh.
Which
He
the
did.
scary thing was, I realised his hands was behind his back at the time.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We were sort of doing our Comic Relief thing.
Yes.
Fantastic, they raised 75
So much
million
money.
coin.
We came down to see you, actually, didn't we?
Yes,
we had a
you
radio
came.
show outing.
You came to Let's Dance.
Not me, not
No,
me.
my
Just
niece
for
Mimi came in
clarity,
your
yeah.
place as friend of the show.
Is that right? Oh, good.
I don't think you'd be at home at anything with the party atmosphere.
No. Or the word comic in it.
There were too many coloured wigs. You wouldn't have liked
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah.
There were,
Sounds like a fire hazard.
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't a political statement. Yes, well, were you any aware of this show? That was one. I've lost the power of speech. But I'm going to keep
Well,
going.
Yeah.
but when I heard about this, I came close to losing the power of speech. I'd heard that you kissed Greg on national telly, and I know both of you, and I like you each separately. I don't feel
Can
a
I just
need
say, very
for-
good use of national telly, which they often use in the Big Brother house. I can't believe you've said that on national television.
Yeah, it has an air of when they say on Britain's Got Talent, do you really think the royal family want to watch stuff like this?
And I said to my wife yesterday, apparently Frank kissed Greg on Comic Relief. Did you hear about it? And she went, I saw it. So I'm not sure that's a ringing endorsement.
No, not everyone.
We saw it.
Well.
Mimi, my 11-year-old niece, her first
my
question
goodness.
was, well, she enjoyed it enormously.
Did she?
Well, she just said it was quite normal. This is a different
It's modern.
generation, you
Always
see.
different. You know, it's funny you should say that, because I drove my little boy to swimming yesterday. He's only
Yeah.
9 months old, so he's not really doing language at the moment, but I talked to him throughout the journey,
Good.
because he's in the back and I'm in the front.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remind him that I'm there. And we went through Vauxhall, and I said, look, there's the Royal Vauxhall Tavern, one of the great homosexual landmarks of central London. And I thought, 30 years ago, I don't think dads were saying things like that to their children.
No.
They'd have averted their eyes, so that's progress.
Mimi's question, she went up to Greg and she said, did you practice? I thought it was a perfectly valid question.
Fantastic question.
I had a moment with Roland Riveron, though, Frank, because he was the winner the year before.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Well, I told him that, and I said, but it came out wrong. It was one of those awful moments. I said, I thought you were brilliant. I said, Frank and I were saying, it's very important not to try and be funny. Oh, you don't say that to a comic.
No.
He said, yes, I think I've successfully managed not to be funny.
Oh.
I didn't mean it like that.
No, I think that the thing is that you have to dance properly to be
Yeah.
good on it. It was won by Anthony Cotton, in case
Yeah.
you don't know, who tap danced. And beautifully.
Shuffle, hop, step, tap, ball, change. He dropped a time step on them, did he?
The drama school flashback. Blimey, I didn't even know asthmatics could tap dance. Do you tap dance?
I can tap dance, but
You-
only about
Oh,
only about as far as I've just said. I don't even think I've got the rhythm right on the time step. But
If
I'll
I had
bring
to
it up.
write a league table of people who tap dance, I can't tell you how low you would have been.
no, Frank, I see him as a sort of Billy Elliot type.
Do you?
Yes.
That's how I got myself out of the slums of West Yorkshire. that I grew up in.
You danced out.
It's very like Billy Elliot. No,
And
Well, that's-
he's got the rainbow top on. Lovely.
I
Yeah.
tell you, I would love to have. I'll pay £1,000 for Comic Relief to see you tap dance.
Okay.
Have you still got your taps?
I haven't actually got taps, but I'll just get some tappy shoes. I'll bring them in a board. It'll be like,
You'll get some tappy shoes. What are that?
You get shoes that are a bit clippy, can't you? And you can put them on a board. And
I don't know.
Clippy.
It's
That
a
doesn't
different
sound very
world.
Black Swan. A bit clippy.
It's a different
Not
world.
seen that.
I found with Anthony Cotton, I closed my eyes at one point during it, and it was just like a manual typewriter.
Yes, a lot of people notice that.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to look like you're enjoying it at all times on there because they keep cutting to the judges.
Oh,
You
yeah.
pulled it off successful.
Yes,
I
you
heard
saw that, did you?
It was on the sidebar on the Daily Mail.
That was Let's Dance Comic Relief Nights.
It was. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was really good, but I sort of think you want a comic to win.
Can I be
Comic
honest?
Relief.
I wanted Tim Vine to win.
I wanted Tim Vine. to win.
I've developed a bit of an OC on him now.
Oh, good.
I'm quite in love with him, but he has to wear that white outfit at all times and the
No,
faux beard.
but as you were saying, the butcher's hat.
Yeah.
It does look like a butcher's hat, that thing that he wore a white trilby that did make him look like a butcher, and
Oh, I
I think
see.
that's what lost him the vote, because
Oh, that's a
it's
shame.
not a great time to align yourself with the British meat industry.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We were in the Comic Relief Let's Dance bar when you were last with us. I left my bag at one point, Frank, and I got rather paranoid. And I said something I'm not proud of. I said to Daisy's partner, Jermaine, who was there, he's handsome, isn't he? I said, I'm a bit worried about my bag. I left it by the EastEnders. Get it for me. I did.
Yeah, well, I think
Dean Gaffney hasn't worked for a while.
Dean Gaffney would not steal.
He was the trooper, wasn't
Was
he?
he there?
Yes, had his head injury. It was all...
Yeah, he had his head injury.
Of course, 'cause he didn't have his seatbelt on, did he? Silly
No,
Billy.
that's a bit 70s, isn't it?
Yeah, I just...
Was he smoking on-tip cigarettes at the time?
There's a bit of me when I read that thing.
Listening to
thought,
Supertramp.
Yeah, and having a glass of milk.
What car's he driving that doesn't beep for ages when he goes anywhere
Yeah,
without
well, I
it?
imagine he's
As soon as I set off,
I
mine goes
imagine
beep, beep, beep.
it'll be a 90s model.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you said, Frank, you told me you didn't think you were funny.
No, I wasn't funny.
Well,
I disagree.
No.
In the strongest terms.
No, but that's what people do, you see. People say, no, honestly, you were great.
I don't do that.
But in
see,
your
when
core...
I heard that you and Greg kissed each other, I thought, well, they must both have thought they were having a terrible
Exactly.
gig.
Exactly. Because,
Must have.
no.
it is. It's like when you start dancing or something like that,
I think your bar's too high.
Would dancing have been less noble?
It's good that your bar's high.
I thought Greg's bar was too high. No, it was... there are some nights, you feel like you're speaking into a vacuum. It was one of those nights.
You weren't speaking into a vacuum, but being an audience member, I was in the Friends and Family section next to Henry Winkler's family. But
Nice.
being in the Friends and Family section, you realise the demographic, they're a tough crowd. Because they're 14-year-old children with glow sticks and nanas.
Yes.
It's not really your audience.
Well, I think of that as my audience.
Oh dear. Okay, well then it was a
No,
disaster.
It was a disaster.
No, it wasn't, Frank.
It's all right. I'm already over it. I'm not over it. I'll never be over it. But it was, it's all right. I read. I just wish that at the end of the show there should be more of this. There should be more debriefings at the end of shows when people say, "So Alex Jones and Steve Jones could have come over to the judges and say, how do you think it went?" And that could have been the last 10 minutes. I was saying, well, I didn't think that gag about blah blah went very well, and I wish I'd said, looking back, I wish I'd said.
Yeah, like a sort of version of the bloopers, but
Perhaps we could do it on this.
yeah.
Last link, just how we
Oh,
think the
I
show's
can't
gone.
wait for that.
I think that would be brilliant. I read one of my favourite reviews ever this week. I was looking for my next audio book. And it wasn't a review of mine, it was a review, so
Right,
I can say it without my lip trembling. And I've often thought about reading the autobiography of Moez Khan Gandhi.
Oh yes, I've read it.
Interesting. Have you read it?
Yeah,
How is it?
I really enjoyed it. I read it in India.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You read it in Indian? I thought you were going to say like there was such a language as Indian.
Fluent, aren't you?
Was
in
it My
Sanskrit?
Experiments with the Truth?
Did you do that sort of thing when you're on holiday? You buy a book that's locally relevant.
I read My Experiments with Truth by Gandhi whilst listening to Britney Spears on my headphones, which I thought that summed me up in a way.
That is that's a great combo. So I looked. I thought I might get that. There was one review, and the review said, "I really wish this had been good." That's a tough review.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we can't talk about your high-profile kissing of Greg all the show. We need to talk about the big news from Wednesday evening. No, not me recording a Radio 4 programme. New Pope in town, isn't there? There's a new Pope in town.
There's a new Pope in town, yeah. I was up there right to the very... It was the kiss that lost it for me.
You think? Yeah. The bets on you really dropped off on Sunday, didn't they?
I bet they did, yeah. You can't come back. You can't come back from that in the Catholic Church.
I'd say you lost it by a whisker, Frank.
Oh. Well, he would have...
it's a bit of a... The fact that he took my name.
Yeah.
Who? Franny?
Yeah, that's
Pope
cheating.
Franny. I like it.
I call him that.
Oh, I call him that.
Yeah.
A Catholic friend of mine texts me that, so I think it's allowed. But then I suppose only he's allowed to say that, isn't he?
Pope Franny?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're abbreviating it. It should be Francis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Franny's like...
See, I like the way you're deconstructing that.
Just working my way through it as to why it was disrespectful. I'm not...
If there's anyone who doesn't understand the concept of abbreviating names, there it was in a nutshell.
Yeah, that'd be a good text-in. Text-in names that you want to be made long
ways
again.
of shortening names.
Alan will make the name long again
Yeah.
if you text in the...
I'd look forward to that. So people saying, Christopher, you can reduce it to Chris. That's great. That's this week's letter of the week. You win £5.
So has he got a Twitter account?
He'll take up the Pontifex.
Oh, really?
Oh,
so the
at
outgoing
Pontifex.
Pope has to teach him, like, the login and all that stuff, do you think?
I
they got
suppose
staff for
he'll have a password and all that. You'll get that from him.
No, he trashed it on the way out.
He's been to see the Benedict.
Benedetto, has he?
Yeah, he went. They had a bit of a post-election meeting.
High five.
Oh,
Think
lovely.
they high five.
I think at the moment things are quite cordial,
Right.
but I'm hoping it might go a bit. In 897 there was a thing called the Cadaver Synod.
No.
And what happened was the Pope was elected, and he decided that the previous Pope had been corrupt, and then he needed to be challenged on this. So he sent his men to go and dig him up. And they dug him up, brought him into the Vatican like he's rotting corpse.
Oh.
And he was tried. The Pope tried him for his crime. He lost. He was found guilty.
Was he?
Well, I mean, under cross-examination, he was worse than useless.
Did he plead the fifth?
Yeah, very much so.
I enjoyed that little Simon Sharma interlude.
Yeah, but what an interesting...
Yeah,
it
it
just made
is.
me think, let's not give up on Savile.
Yeah.
There's still a chance we can get him. So,
Yeah, you actually said that. The thing I like most about His Holiness,
yes.
Franny, was that he underwent a bit of a makeover.
Oh.
I like an extreme makeover.
Yeah, I don't-
but what he did...
Wasn't that
Well, I can
extreme,
see you're
was
not
it?
buying... Well, you're saying that. What he did a 1960s approach to beauty, which was take off those glasses, Miss Jones.
Yeah, he did. He started
He
off
took-
on the balcony. He had the
yes.
glasses on.
Then he removed them. But it said, you see, he has an off-the-peg cassock, doesn't he? Because he doesn't get the couture one.
You don't think one of the cardinals took his glasses off and saying, "Why, Mr. Baglioli, you're beautiful." And then he took off the little hat and all his hair cascaded down over his shoulders.
So I saw the two pictures and just assumed that his glasses were sat on a Bible or something that he'd been reading earlier. You know, he'd taken them off.
Oh, he'd
to
left them off.
Speak to someone, then he's wandered away and they just sat
I don't
somewhere.
know quite what's gone on, unless he's inherited the papal contact lenses.
Yeah.
But he did seem to start with spectacles, yeah. And
But then he kept getting compared to Jim Bowen. I think he read
I
that.
think that was
Yeah.
Yeah. Sent him over the edge.
it. Yeah, I suppose that's a possibility. I hadn't considered that.
Frank, what's the deal with the red straw hat?
Yes.
It's a bit duty-free shop Tenerife, that. I'm not a fan of that.
That was
Benedetto liked that, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think that was ever worn before Benedict. I think he
Oh.
invented the red sombrero. He loved a bit of red.
Yeah.
He'd have been great on Comic Relief. I mean, he's got some free time. I don't know why they couldn't have got him on there as a big nose.
Yeah.
But the glasses thing, I wonder if Francis is going to look back and think, oh, why did I wear my glasses on the balcony? That's the shot everyone uses.
Yeah.
And I look so much better without them. Is it going to be like Carlos the Jackal? You know the one Carlos the Jackal picture when he's got one collar in and one collar out? He must have looked at that a million times and thought, God, just for that one picture. Could not somebody have said, oh, hold on a minute, Carlos? Or maybe, Senor Jackal.
Like Mr. Rascal.
What they've done is, they've shortened that, you see, Al.
Yeah, I'm aware. I followed it.
You're right. God, let's think of some other names that can be shortened.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I wonder if when he was on the balcony, he hadn't yet really formed full Popeness.
This is Franny, in the glasses.
So it's a bit like he was Clark Kent. He was still Clark Kent at that point, but now
I love an analogy.
He has become the superhero. So now he has taken his glasses off.
That's a good way of looking at it, rather than how I looked at it, which was that he didn't have one of those strings to put round his neck, and so therefore he'd lost his glasses.
Lanyard.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah,
just call them glasses.
You can
strings.
use that.
Thanks
you can use
very
that in
much,
one of your skits.
Lanyard, yeah, I'm going to... Hang on, let me just write that down. Lanyard, string.
I'll tell you what I'm slightly worried about with him.
Yeah.
And, it's early days yet, and certainly every Catholic is watching out for... They think there's going to be some, what kind of pope's he going to be? I suspect he'll be not massively different from the other popes. He's not going to come in and say, maybe we've been wrong about the gay marriage thing. That's not going to happen.
No.
But he's very keen on being ordinary. He very much, yeah. He famously didn't live in the palace in Buenos Aires.
Oh, he wouldn't have had much luck with me
Cardinal.
then. That's the only reason I'd be with him.
Yeah, he lived in...
I want that palace.
That's not the only reason he wouldn't be with you, is it?
But he had an apartment on the outskirts of town. He used to get the boss in to...
Forget about it.
Now, it's a bit Jerry Halliwell on the tube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just trying a bit too hard.
It is a bit.
So I think he's going to accept he's the Pope now, and you have to... It's nice. I've always thought it's nice that Paul McCartney sent his kids to state school.
Yeah.
But he's sort of making a bit too big a point, really. If you're a Beatle, you should have the best education.
I don't think it's practical for the Pope to be travelling on... London transport or public transport of any sort. Really.
I don't know if he'd do London transport.
I wish he would.
I think when he comes here, he'll have to do the official car. But
the other
day, apparently, they sent
it. He used a car, didn't he?
Yeah, but they don't use that. That's for formal events.
He hasn't even got his outfit, which is, let's be honest, FYI, the most important thing. He hasn't even got the gear yet. Well, and they had 3 laid out. They have a small, medium, and large. Apparently, what if he's a 0? How can they make that assumption?
I don't know if you get that's such is the state of the modern church. There are no zeros. In the old days, maybe, but now they live the luxurious life. So I think it's all right, to be when you're the Pope. You can be a bit starry. Take the limo.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go for the glasses, go a bit Elton John. Get the windscreen wipers.
They get his shoes on eBay, don't they? They get his shoes
After all,
on
you can't take it with you.
They get his shoes on eBay.
Yeah, I read it. They said they're getting him the PayPal shoes.
Can't follow that. Hey, email corner. We've been emailed. It's as simple as that.
We have, and it's sort of in the same part of the Venn diagram as a new pope. We've had an email about a former friend of the show, the AB of C. I know it's not directly overlapping, but
I'm calling it the ecclesiastical section of email corner.
Very much a former friend. He dropped me like a hot potato.
Oh, what, by moving out of the building?
No, but I thought, he invited me to a couple of do's, and then we spoke publicly in Canterbury Cathedral as part of
You did a lovely interview.
Part of my cathedrals tour. And I never ever heard from him again. He had a big farewell thing. I wasn't invited.
Oh, no.
David Baddiel said it's because I ran, and I quote, ran rings round him during the interview. Ran rings around the Archbishop of Canterbury. I love it. Anyway, this is from B. Crayford.
B. Crayford says, I thought...
Not B as in the initial, but B as in Beatrice. And you see what's happened there.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, that is clever, isn't
It's
it?
a shortening.
That is good. Yeah, we've got this email from Beatrice. I thought you might like to hear that the ex-ABFC, Rowan Williams, was recently spotted in a supermarket in Cambridge asking a student, "Is that a Lord of the Rings pendant?" The student confirmed this, to which RW replied, "Hang on, what's that mean?" Oh, it's
Rowan Williams.
Yeah.
I see, I get it now.
That's shortening even more.
Yeah.
That's called initials,
Amazing.
Al.
That's amazing, isn't
Initials.
it? That's really clever, FYI. I thought so. More of a Game of Thrones man myself. At this, he won the hearts of everyone in the vicinity. Although I have to admit, I would have been even more excited if he had declared himself to be a Merlin man.
Well, indeed.
Oh, right.
Probably because he knows I like it and I ran rings round. Is that a Lord of the Ran Rings round me pendant? Yeah, it's an interesting tale, this. Is he really a Game of Thrones man, or is it that one of the things that Church of England people say to sound like they're down with the kids?
Right, like when, was it...
Down with the geeks.
Was it Gordon Brown said that he was a massive Arctic Monkeys fan in an
Was it
interview?
Gordon Brown, yeah. And I think, didn't David Cameron say he liked the Smiths?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
he
I think he
did.
does, though. I think he quotes
He does.
them in
No,
the
he
comments
said, someone said
every now and
Arctic
again.
Monkeys,
somebody
yeah,
writes
and got in
those
trouble.
quotes for him.
Do you think?
He has no idea who the Smiths are. He said he just thought it's a common name. It'll appeal to the.
I
great
can see them
British
liking
people.
Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. It's your basic, good v evil tussle, which I would imagine would appeal in a broad sense to these people.
Yeah, maybe this close to Easter, he should be focusing a bit more on his main task.
Hey, I know what the new
I love
book
that
could
Frank's
really
turned.
sort out.
Now he hasn't had a few missed calls.
Yeah, exactly.
You dropped calls on the iPhone and he's turned.
Hell hath no fury, like a Catholic scorned. Yeah, it needs to be a bit more Crown of Thorns and a bit less Game of Thrones. That's what I'm saying. What about that for a linguistic extravaganza?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215 or you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Change that.
It's more generic, isn't it? It's just the wideness.
Yeah,
Very wide.
it is. It's a broad church, as they say in Wales.
Well, that's what you said to Rowan Williams, and that's what got you in trouble. Can we? I'd like to remain in email corner. I'd like to luxuriate for a bit.
Oh
there.
yeah, I haven't played the exit music.
Oh, good.
Do you know the exit music?
No, what is it?
Is it like Radiohead's exit music for a film?
Oh, I didn't know that. What is that?
It's the one off the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack, isn't it? Is it
Isn't
Wake from Your
that Dire
Sleep
Straits?
before your father hears us?
Oh,
Don't know, but I enjoyed that.
it's
This
giving
is-
me stomachache.
This is from Stuart Hodgetts.
Oh,
He says, "Dear Frank and Co, I recently had a bizarre dream."
it's like
Well-
Legs and Co.
Yeah, oh, I loved them.
I love two of them.
Were you a Babs fan? She went
Oh,
on
I
to
like-
marry Robert Powell.
She did, yeah. She was lovely, Babs. I think everyone liked Babs best.
From Legs and Co.
Do you
tell
not
you
know
why
who
you
Legs and Co are? He doesn't know who they are. Can you explain,
They
please, Frank?
replaced Pan's people.
He doesn't know who Pan's people are.
Oh, he does know.
Can you
Hang on,
explain,
is-
please, Frank?
Is Co short for company in Legs and Co?
Oh, don't stop.
Oh.
Anyway,
Okay. I've lost my place now. Hang on a
I
second.
think we're having a hiatus.
Dear Frank and Co, I recently had a bizarre dream where Frank and I were partaking in a game of five-a-side football. But before the game, we sang Three Lions for the national anthems. Frank
Lovely.
got injured after 10 minutes while I was given man of the match. Thanks for providing me with constant entertainment. As a Brummie studying in London, it's comforting to hear Frank's Brummie accent send me to sleep in the evening as I listen in on the podcast. Kind regards, Stuart Hodgetts.
I seem to be the new Horlicks.
What I find weird is that if you listen to your voice before going to sleep, I would think it's pretty likely that you're going to dream about you.
Yes.
That you think you dream, apparently, about the thing you think about.
It's
the
true,
split
because
second before
obviously
going to
I
sleep.
hear my voice lasting, and I
Yeah.
often dream about me.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're certainly correct.
I don't think it's that bizarre, but I dreamt the other day that I was being chased by the police, and then I was interrogated quite aggressively.
Oh, no need
And
for that.
Partway through the interview with the police, I
You
got
tap
out.
danced.
No, I didn't. That'll be next week's.
Yeah.
I got out a yoghurt and started eating yoghurt during an interview with the police.
That's
And then-
against every procedure going.
But I think I thought,
Sounds
this'll-
to me like some
this'll
sort
get-
of
this'll get
symbolic representation of Martin McCutcheon's bankruptcy.
Genuinely,
Was
there
it Danon? Was it
there
Paul
then-
Danon?
No, but there's an even bigger reveal here. I don't know what it means, but perhaps the listeners will let us know. There was soil in my yoghurt.
It was soiled?
I was eating it, and there was like bits of mud in the spoonfuls of yoghurt, and I was just eating it, thinking, "Oh, well, the police won't even notice that there's soil here." True story. I mean, it's not a true story;
Not
it's
a
a
true
dream, but it's a true story that I dreamt it.
We that thing about the three lines. I did a pilot for a show the other week.
did
A
you?
Jason Manford vehicle. I imagine a sort of northern milk float for that.
Yes, I do.
But they were talking about the fact that Elton John's son is called Daniel, his second son, after the song.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, if I had triplets, boys, I'd call them all Lionel. So they could be known as the three Lionels.
Lovely.
Got nothing.
Oh,
I'm proud.
Completely nothing.
you deserve something
I
for
don't know.
that.
It's
Yeah. So did you kiss him? Is that what happened?
no.
That's
yeah,
what
I
you do
did.
whenever you're faced with a
That
tough
just-
crowd, isn't it?
Well, that's
I
what I'm
thought
going to start doing now. Oh, I
afterwards-
have been doing that. Sorry, my mistake. I
No,
forgot.
afterwards, I thought next time that happens to me, I'm just going to kiss a man, and that'll rescue an otherwise terrible performance.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We're still in email corner, but we've also just had a text in. This is from Eddie Jarman. He says, "Hi Frank, Emily and the Cockerel. Frank, many years ago, there was a programme on the TV that asked celebrities what their favourite meal was, and I think they had to demonstrate cooking it. I'm almost certain that you were on it, and you chose a meat pie sandwich with brown sauce. I think melted cheese was involved at some point as well. I remember you demonstrating that the hot meat pie had to be carefully crushed between the slices of bread before eating. Oh my God, that sounds so you. I can't even speak.
That sounds lovely.
I thought you might like to know that I tried it on the strength of your recommendation. Very nice indeed, although I think the faint clunking sound that I heard might have been my artery slamming shut. Are you still a connoisseur of the pie butty, or have you moved on to hoity-toity food now?"
Well, actually, what's odd about that is that I do really like a meat pie and cheese sandwich, and it's something I've done for many years, but I certainly don't remember ever making one on the telly. I think either I've completely lost that part of my brain, or he's... What's he called, this gentleman?
He's called Eddie.
Or Eddie's extrapolated.
Wouldn't it be great if he's dreamt that? He's just...
Oh, you're
just
dream
keen.
obsessed now.
I am a bit, yeah.
I don't
like
know
the
if
sound of
it'd
that
be
sandwich, though.
great. Would it be great if
Hey,
you
you know
dreamt
what?
that?
When I first joined this show, I
When
remember
was that,
It
Alan?
was June the year before
I like
last.
that. Frank, you went a bit judicial there.
No,
when
just-
was that,
Well,
Alex?
this year, this week, I discovered Absolute Radio told me it was our
enjoying-
4th anniversary of this
Showing a
show.
little anniversary.
Oh, yes,
aren't
so
you?
I found
showing
that
up-
out.
So I'm just looking at my mental pie chart, how big your piece would be.
Yeah, and thinking of making a sandwich out of it.
God.
You are so sharp.
No, you
No,
told me
there's
that.
a-
I looked up what that is, our 4th anniversary. You know, it's like paper and wood.
Yeah.
That's electrical appliances.
Is it really?
I'm not joking.
I thought they were all just a single substance, like wood, ruby, gold, electrical
And then we get
appliance.
Magimix. Oh.
Yeah, that's... I hate electrical appliances.
Well,
It's one of my
somebody-
pet hates.
Well, that's because you are Amish, to be fair.
Yeah,
Somebody,
it's true.
Somebody emailed saying that they microwaved pork pies and then ate them with a spoon.
Yes.
And I meant at the time to have a go at that, and I still haven't.
Who was
tried
that
it.
from?
Get-
At Britain's Fattest Man.
I tried
He
it.
tweeted us.
Did you?
Yeah, what you end up with is all the jelly and stuff around the meat melts, and the pork bobs up and down. It's like, if you can imagine a Coke float in which Coke is replaced by fat, and the ice cream's replaced by pork, and the glass is replaced by pastry.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Just as you were saying that, I've realised we get up a lot earlier than everybody else, so some people are eating cereal at 9:17
No, I'm
on a
sorry about
Saturday.
that. Who knows what people are doing as they listen to this
Also,
show.
can I say sorry to civilised
Don't
people
tell
about all
us.
this talk of eating pies?
Oh, lovely.
I don't like pies. Horrible. I like that that's a surprise to you.
That's pies and electrical goods written off in 2 sentences.
Dear Frank, lovely Emily and Alan.
I had a couple of new white goods this week, by the way.
Did you? What did you
I
get?
had a
I remember you had issues
dishwasher.
with your fridge not so long ago.
No, I've kept the fridge.
Oh,
Dishwasher and washing machine.
how are they working for you?
They're all right, but why do they have to be white goods? Why not more variety of colour?
Well, I have stainless steel goods because it goes with my
I
interiors.
was about to say stainless steel really works nowadays.
No, but I want some pastel shades.
Pastel.
Right.
Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? A nice turquoise dishwasher. Why not?
Oh.
That's this
Sounds
week's
to me
texting.
like a gap in the market.
Yeah, and I love a gap in the market.
Dragon's Den.
That's why I opened Gap. I don't know if you know, I'm the man behind Gap. And I said semi-trendy. I said, don't go trendy.
No.
Go, let's say like 5 years back. Let's take 5 years step backwards. What was fashionable then? And do that. And that's what people want, because it takes time for people to get used to things. The British people, they're naturally conservative with a small c, I said. Got a bit of a giggle round the board table. And I think we've done all right with it. And I said also, let's not bother with those little labels. Let's put the name in quite big letters across the front of stuff. And this guy said to me, oh, people won't have that, because that's just like free advertising. And I said, well, we'll see, Martin, what people will have and what they won't have. And I think we can safely say I had the last laugh.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I'd like to talk about a new fashion trend that's emerging.
I like the run-up on that, because I heard you take quite a big breath.
Oh, did you?
It's great.
Oh, did you like it?
I like that look you've got today. So, this sort of Tom Brown school days look that girls are going for now, with
nice,
like the
yeah.
dark, with a white collar on top.
Bit of a Peter Pan collar. That's what I'm going for.
But I like it's sort of convent schoolgirl
Yes.
feel. Oh, the webcam, whatever it's called now.
We are going to be discussing
so
pants.
she's just wearing the collar on
Yeah.
top, like the
Like the new-
Chippendales.
and the cuffs, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be discussing pants now.
Pardon.
Well, let's call this Pants Corner, because you might be familiar with the concept of VPL.
Yes.
As men of the world, I'm sure you are.
Yes. Can I ask you a technical question as
Please
you work
do.
in the fashion industry?
do.
VPL, what would you say that stands for?
Visible panty line.
Yes.
MWAOC, that's what I'd say it stands for as well.
Don't bring the
For
OC
what?
into this. Don't bring the OC into
I would
this.
say that's what it stood for as well. VPL,
Yes.
Visible Panty Line,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is
And I'm really good on abbreviations, so...
but the singular of panty,
Yeah.
is that acceptable? Because you wouldn't say... It should be visible panties line, shouldn't
Yeah,
it?
but that's
Because
what they do in fashion. They singularise
God.
everything, don't they? It's like
Yeah.
when Emily says, that's a nice shoe and that's a nice trouser,
Wear it with a jean.
a lovely
that doesn't
sleeve,
seem right
that
to
sort
me,
of thing.
because you can see panties in the plural. This is
You
not a
stop
word
saying panties,
It's not-
please.
It's
It's not a word I
disgusting.
use often, but I'm
I think this
enjoying
may
it.
be one of the hazards of this.
Can we
as a
just
topic.
establish...
In a minute, I'm going to say knickknicks.
No, he's in trouble, don't mention him. But, no, during London Fashion Week, they were actually, designers kind of showcased VPL.
I can't believe that.
Was it an accident or it was a deliberate...
No, there were no accidents in LFW.
Really?
Yeah. So, and apparently, there's one high street department store which says, I don't know if I believe this, but they're saying that they're selling out. Women are actually requesting. They want pants where you can see the outline.
Really?
I can't understand.
What, because men like
I
it?
think maybe a journalist rung up and said, we'll mention your store.
Right.
But who knows?
Well,
Where do you both stand on the VPL for men and women?
I find with authentic underwear, which is what I wear.
You do sport
nine
that.
pairs for £1.
Oh.
I find that the seam work of the third word children
Yeah.
is so delicate. You can hardly see a thing through. I mean, respect to them. And they earn that 20 pence a week. Those kids.
I don't think Emily's going to be speaking for a while because of what you've said, making her laugh.
Okay, but no, I don't get it. But I really don't like it. I don't want to judge, but I don't
You
like
don't like
it.
VPL?
I don't like it on a lady.
Oh, no.
I don't mind it. I
You
quite
don't
like it. I quite
See,
like
some
it.
men,
You
I
like
think.
VPL?
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
about in a tight Vorderman dress? For example, there have been times I've had to go commando. I'm sorry, Frank. I'm going to admit it.
Oh,
Richard
oh,
Nixon.
When we celebrated your
Blimey.
25 years in show business,
You
I
were-
was commando.
I've never been so disrespected. Oh, dear.
Like red dress, commando.
I wasn't. I wore a suit that had too high a wool content to be going commando. That would have been.
I don't wear very tight trousers because
Right.
I get VVL, which is a visible varicose line. And if they're very tight, they will close the whole damn thing down. It's like a tube strike, and the blood has to wait at one end. I won't have it. But I'm shocked that you came to my 25th anniversary dinner song panties. To me, you see, when I look back on that now, that evening will be slightly marred.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said Mars.
Thanks very much.
No, but I don't. When men wear pants, I don't like to see the inner workings. Do you know what I mean? So that's what it's a reminder, isn't it? I'd rather you went commando. I'd rather you went maidly, to be honest.
Yes.
Than I could. That's why I like a boxer brief. I don't like one of those little on briefs. You know those
I like-
little.
The trouble is, it goes the other way. If you go commando as a man, I don't know about you, Alan, but I tend to get the birthmark on the front of the trousers, and that's, to me, that's worse.
We were talking about VPL on Absolute Radio this
were.
morning.
Visible
course.
panties.
None of
Visible
us, we've
panties.
established, are really fans of it.
Well,
No.
I quite like it when I see it on others.
I worry about men who say they like it.
Why?
Yeah.
Because
Because
they're
it's a
filthy
sort
creep.
of, there's an element of, ooh,
No.
I can see a woman's pants.
I'm not doing
albeit
that.
in silhouette.
I mean, if I was like that, I would be more interested in the thong and what I believe they call the whale tail in the
Yes.
pop culture, don't they?
Yes, I haven't seen one of those for ages, actually.
No, it's gone out. It's gone out of fashion.
Happily, it's
hasn't it?
generally hidden by a roll of fat nowadays.
Yeah. Yes.
That's one of the pluses of the
Looks
national
more like-
obesity
Or
crisis.
like a cheese slicer or something.
Yes.
When they use
But
those
when
wires.
ladies wear bodycon dresses, you tend to get a
I don't know what that means.
bodycon is, Carol Vorderman, darling, wears those dresses, they're very tight. That's called bodycon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's con short for?
I believe it's...
Contour, is it the black line?
Yeah, it's... No, but that's something
the
different.
women's
as opposed to
Constraint.
it. Yeah.
Constraint, it could be.
Oh, it could be constraint.
Yes.
Body conscious, body contour.
Conscious. Surely it's not conscious.
Oh, I
they wouldn't
wish
say
it
body
was.
conscious. That would be too out in the open. Body controversial would be good.
Yeah?
Body form.
You see, what
no.
do these men do, these comics who wear these skinny jeans and the Yellens?
I don't
Because
know.
how can they fight VPL? They can't, they have to go maidly, don't they?
Oh.
Well, they can't though, surely, because then every time you sat down, you'd be showing off cleavage. Like you can't do that.
No, this is going
Oh,
very
no,
low.
I don't like it.
Hey, I'm not. I didn't bring this up. I'm just answering the
It's
question.
gone a
You
bit
asked the
talk
question.
sport.
No, I'm a baggy jeans and I'm a cotton boxer short person.
Also, we're talking
Except for
about...
sport, where I'd prefer to
What
be
about,
held.
what about VBL?
What's that?
VBL.
The visible bra line?
Oh, God.
See, I don't like... when you get the double-decker breast?
No.
That's terrible. When a slightly small, too small brassiere and
Yeah.
and their cop runneth over.
Oh,
So you sit it. Oh, no, I can't cope
I
with
know
that.
what you mean. You know
No.
what? I think a general rule with underwear is I don't like to tell too much of my life story.
Good idea.
You know?
That's a lot beautifully put.
Yeah.
Never thought of it
Keep
that
some
way.
of it back for friends and family. Maybe not family, friends.
I remember
Maybe not
when,
even friends. Maybe just partners, potential partners.
I blame Madonna, of course. She made it okay to show your brassiere. Can I say, though, that when did it become not all right to twang someone's bra strap. Because that was a big thing, not only when I was at school, but into my early working days. You just and it didn't seem very sexual because it was round the back. You'd just grab the strap and loose it, and
Really?
yeah. When did that go?
I think it's been pretty recently in the newspaper.
If there's anyone who works in HR, you can probably put a date on it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I try and abide by a rule of neither a borrower or a lender be.
Oh, you've been listening to Polonius.
Yes. I didn't know that, but yeah. I got it.
You
as
went
a-
to drama school.
I sort of got it
No,
as
he
a
was doing
form
the
of
tap.
hearsay.
He,
Oh, yeah,
he wasn't doing Hamlet.
And
He would have been a good Dane, though.
I would be a good Dane, yeah.
you would.
I'm probably a bit too old for Hamlet now. How old was Hamlet?
Well, no, Hamlet was 31.
Yeah, I'm
David Tennant
38.
did it.
I suppose I could play down, couldn't I? I could play down. They
Yeah.
could make me
You
look
could
younger.
play Bob
give me-
down. in a crimpling
like
safari
a-
suit.
Safari
They
suit.
could pop me in a Bieber fringe and I'd look in my early 30s.
No.
Anyway, there's been an amazing picture going around the World
Can I
Wide
say,
Web
by
this
the
week.
way,
Yes.
it's representative of your age that Bieber doesn't have a fringe anymore.
Oh, I
he
know,
he
yeah.
abandoned the fringe.
Yeah, and then he got all fighty. I'm starting to think he's a bit Samson-like. He gets rid of his fringe and he goes a bit bad-tempered, doesn't he? There was a viral picture this week that went around the World Wide Web.
Can't
Of,
people
uh,
just keep jokes amongst their close circle of friends? We have to have these things. Oh, have you seen that
It's gone
funny
round.
thing on the
It's
internet?
gone round. A man
Frank,
got
it was
given
on
his
the, do you know the
casserole
web?
dish.
It was on the
I
web.
know. I guessed it was on the web.
Yeah,
On
I know you
the
like the web.
Capital T, capital W. It was
On the
web.
the Robert, as I call it.
The Robert Webb. Yeah, a guy got given his casserole dish back by his sister-in-law, absolutely covered in mould. I mean, minging, disgusting.
I saw that picture actually.
Oh.
Having
I loved
criticised.
it.
I thought it
Brilliant.
looked beautiful.
I did.
What
I absolutely loved
the
it.
multifarious colours of the
Yes,
fungus
Frank.
was astonishing.
They look like cloud
You
formations.
see, I would have understood if it had been a bowl of M&Ms that had been left.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how many various colours came from the same casserole.
Sweet potato dish, I believe it was.
Was it really?
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
I've-
there was some other
I've googled deep for this
How long
one.
did she keep this?
4 months.
4 months. Of,
I think that's perfectly acceptable.
really?
I'm sorry, yeah. I also think if you bring round food, you can't expect the dish back anyway. To
Really?
be honest. Oh, God, yeah.
Now you mention it, we have got a couple of some bits of rogue crockery
Yeah.
in the cupboard that come from people making us decent enough to make us pies and stuff like that, and,
And
not
you've kept the
return.
crockery. But I
Especially
think it's a
'cause-
bit Stepford vibes, Frank. You can't just go, excuse me, can I have my... Imagine if I rang Kathy. Kathy, can I come and bring that Pyrex dish back? It's ridiculous.
But that's the lure. You see, they're often because they're
Oh.
baked goods. They're often on a Pyrex dish, and you think, oh, you can't have too much Pyrex, so
Yeah,
you end
that's-
up keeping it.
Yeah.
Especially an oven plate. I mean, they're worth their weight in
Yeah.
gold.
They're worth about £4 from IKEA, so just go and buy a new one. It's not 1953.
Yeah, but it's a big walk, and you have to follow the arrows.
I'll have the little
You know what I mean?
little betting shop pencil as well.
Yeah, and you always buy something else once you're there, don't you? You never take a trip.
Yeah,
and just
horse
come-
apparently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
your? I have to say, I currently have a box set of Deadwood from the producer of the show, Daisy. I haven't returned. I have a box set of Mad Men from Sarah, the assistant producer. I
Hang on,
haven't
weren't they
returned.
mine I gave to you?
No, they were Sarah's. I've
Subletting.
got your Simon D book.
Can we do our bickering about who's got what stuff during the song?
I don't have anything from Alan Cochrane because he has a very formal fines system.
I bring a double entry book
He,
everywhere.
he did have one curfew in the 90s when stuff was brought back.
It's a little amnesty, yeah.
Other than that,
that
it's,
stuff back.
I end up putting VHSs through his letterbox, like in the old days of the. I think it's. I'd like to know what the rules are on returning. I must say.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're talking about the returning or non-returning of loaned items.
I have a few of yours. I've got a talking book and I think a book of yours.
Which book?
I think I've got one of the page turners that we share about.
I know.
No, I sublet that to you. That's
That's
awkward.
right. Yeah.
That No, that is to be passed on. I think those page-turner books, no one's ever read one twice. I think once you read it, that you pass them on.
Oh, okay. So the pressure's off a bit.
I've
Yeah.
still got that Audrey tattoo film, I think,
Yes,
that Frank
I
gave
wasn't
me.
going to mention that.
No, well, I was,
Were
because
you, though?
I can't return it now. I think the point has passed beyond which I can say, oh, I loved that movie, because my bad behaviour, it's just any mention of it. I cringe if anyone mentions Audrey Tattoo or French films, because I
I
think...
love Audrey Tattoo.
Is it
What a
Amelie?
beautiful
don't, it
woman.
makes
The
me
film
feel
Amelie,
ill.
is that what it is?
I wish you'd watch
No.
it.
Okay, oh, I knew you were going to say
no,
this.
but I think it's
film
one of
is it?
those films, and is what you do.
This is my nightmare. I've had nightmares for 18 months about this happening, and it's really happening.
It's very important to watch it before anyone tells you what happens, because
Okay.
it's one of those when you think,
I wish.
well,
I wish we could name the film because it must be frustrating for
I
the
wish I could name the
listenership.
film, but I haven't seen the DVD for a long time. That's my problem.
Can I just say, if my friends Noel and Lisa are listening, we still have your garden fork, and I'm really sorry.
He's
but
got a helicopter. He can come and pick it up,
my
can't he?
wife broke it, I think. So
Oh no!
I think we're going
Well,
to have
I've
to
still
replace
got
a garden
some.
fork.
I've still got some marble ornamentation from the Parthenon that I took in the early 19th century.
They want them back.
I know
They're
they
making a
do.
fuss.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you think I can remember where I put them?
No.
No,
Have you
I
lost
can't.
your marble?
I'm still genuine. Oh, love it.
Oh, it was worth coming today for that.
I've still genuinely got a T-shirt from the Shoreditch fire station. So sorry, guys, I've still got that.
Well, they couldn't let you go home naked.
What? You think they want it back?
I'm sure that. Well, I don't know, but I don't think I should have taken it.
No.
I was cold and I was passing,
Well, it's
and I
cold.
went in
It's
and asked for
It's
one.
cold on that pole. I mean, you're not supposed to be on there for 25 minutes. Speaking of T-shirts, when I was in South Africa with David Baddiel at the World Cup, I had an Evisu T-shirt. You aware of Evisu?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, and he was wearing it, and he said, "Oh, the cleaner must have put it in the wrong thing." I mean, he knew it wasn't his.
Oh, that's
So
a lie.
I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, I'll take it home and wash it, and I'll give it to you. Has he ever given it to me? I've been around his house 24 times. Never returned my... If you're listening, David, my white Evisu T-shirt, I would really like that back. Oh, you moan about all that art going during the war.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
It's Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio.
Indeed. And we have received missives from the outside world. One being an email, as they say. Dear
they say.
Dear Ms. Dean, Mr. Skinner and Mr. Cochrane, gone for the formal. As a new viewer to the webcams, I was wondering if I could ask a couple of questions in regard to a couple of puzzlements. One, why does the obviously attractive Miss Dean have her chair placed so
lovely.
that we, the web viewers, are unable to actually see her?
Is
this
he
not a breach
representing
of her
Robert Webb's
contract?
family?
Maybe.
I think the problem was that we in the old days, when Gareth was on the show, the co-presenter emeritus,
Pre-Cockerell era.
Yeah.
he
BC, before Cockerell.
exactly. He altered, didn't he? He adjusted one of the webcams.
Right.
It was a sort of Banksy move.
It was,
That got us
but-
in significant trouble.
But yeah, we got
Did it?
told off, so we haven't touched them since then. So I'm sorry if they're not aiming in the right
And
spot.
it's a shame because I've actually got it going on today. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Two, may I ask who the fourth member of your crew is? Member and crew. Fourth and crew are both in inverted commas there. Fourth member of your crew is. And where did she get that rather nice Parker? I await correction if incorrect. Which was just seen recently after a trip to Cafe Nero for warm beverages. There's a fine line between webcam viewer and stalker, isn't there?
And I like it.
Keep up the fun and frolics. Mitch in Woodford, eagerly awaiting the rugger.
Well done, though, Mitch. Not for eagerly awaiting the rug. In fact, I don't know if I want to talk to Mitch having heard that.
I wish I'd read to the
Rugger.
end before reading this out.
I mean,
right off.
who eagerly awaits the rugger?
Ugh.
Will Carling.
Does he, though? I think he's glad to be out of it. No, Mitch, well spotted. I didn't spot the Parker, and I was in the same room. Where did it
nice,
come
though.
from, Sarah, the Parker? Top Shop. There you go.
That's a
Mitch.
shame for you, because you've got a heavy investment in Gap, I believe, haven't you?
Heavy investment. He was one of the original founders in 1974.
I would
right,
say
yeah.
nowadays my investment is largely emotional. Yeah.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
really just a figurehead.
Yeah.
What he does, he sort of minds it, don't you?
I do. I
Yeah.
do mind it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
No, I'm not either.
No, that's what's great, because we know our readers are so clever they'll have done
They'll
it for
get it.
themselves.
I know what your next project is. It's Next, isn't it?
I'm not sure about next. I'm
Thought you'd
thinking
finished
of.
with Gap and gone, right, Next.
I'm thinking of FK. What's it called? What's
You've
that
got to
one?
learn to pronounce it first.
What's
You're
that
going to own the board meetings. That's not going to go down very
it's,
well.
you know, it's one of my tentative portfolios.
Yeah.
I haven't
Anyway,
made my mind up.
We've also had missives from people about things that they've borrowed over the
Yeah.
years and not returned.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. 12 years ago, my father-in-law loaned me a dehumidifier to dry the plaster in a newly built conservatory. Myself and his daughter have now been divorced for 6 years.
Oh.
What shall I do with the dehumidifier? Keep it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, keep
they're
it.
always handy.
That's separation tax.
What about
Yeah.
this? So there was I've got a flat with people living in it. I'm a landlord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some landlord.
Yeah.
One of those awful men in the 60s.
Yeah, I'm a sort of a evil Rackman type figure. And they had a leak, and the other people who the water came from, they paid for the leak, but they had to have a dehumidifier in to dry the plaster. And they wanted to charge me for the extra electricity used by the dehumidifier.
Oh.
Did they?
They did.
What
I
happened?
sent them that old-fashioned piece of underwear, a short shrift.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that was absolutely outrageous, I thought.
is that what you said in the email?
Oh, I didn't send an email, I just nailed a cockerel to their door.
What?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Don't like that. It's my people.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
On the subject of the chap not giving back his father-in-law the dehumidifier, I have a theory about borrowed things that if you do without it for long enough, you learn that you can do without it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's very Buddhist. I like that.
It is, yeah. But I have the other perspective on this, because years ago I lent my mate, who will remain nameless in this story, some money for his rent that was in 2 weeks' time or whatever. And last week...
Can we ask what sort of money we're talking about?
well...
Oh, you always have to ask
was-
the question I hope you're never going to ask.
Well, if you're not going to name him, it's all right.
It was so long ago that I thought it was £400, and it turned out to be 500.
Oh, okay.
And
Turned out to be 17 and 6.
he
Yeah,
gave me it back a couple of weeks ago.
Did he?
that's good. With
I
interest.
don't like to. Yeah, he put an extra £50 in, saying, "I'm really sorry it took that long." And
How many years are we talking?
I think perhaps 6, maybe quite a while.
I'd have written it off by then.
Not 3 weeks. I had written it off, and I must say, I'm putting tickets on myself here, as my mum would say. But I was really cool about it. Because I was just like, you're going to have to remind me. Even as I gave me, I was like, you're going to have to. This is now your job, because I can't keep nagging you about it, because we're mates. It's not my style.
Yes.
And then he's brought it up all the way along. He said, I do know about it, and it's not like one of
He's
those
done
things.
that for 6 years. He said, I haven't forgotten about it.
I'd say for a while, yeah.
That's worse. If you've forgotten about it, he's
not-
just rubbing your nose in it.
I'm not going to lie.
I haven't forgotten about it, but you know what? I'm not paying it back.
He hasn't been lavish
Don't
with
go Rackman yet. The guy didn't have the money.
Yeah. Although there is that then temptation to go, oh, you told me a story earlier about how you went out for a beer. You had money for a beer, but
Well,
not
that's
for
the-
it.
that's
There
the
is
problem.
That, it's toxic, isn't it, in that way?
I think, as a rule, never lend money to friends or my father, and then you'll be okay.
It's a good rule.
He could have put aside £1.50 a week and paid you earlier.
Yeah. I mean, all of these are the thoughts that
Bit
run
Michael
through one's head.
Parkinson
I'd tell you,
advert.
I'd be holding that
£1.50 a week.
I'd be holding up that money to the light. I'll tell you, make sure there's some metal strips in it.
But then just like this chap that's the father-in-law, he will have learned how to cope without his dehumidifier. And if you now give him back his dehumidifier, he'd have this weird, bonanza moment of going, yay, I've
Would he,
got a
though?
dehumidifier that I didn't need. Or he might go,
Bear
"Oh,
in
I'm not room
mind,
for
this
that
is the
anymore."
daughter's ex-husband's
Yeah.
going to turn up suddenly at the house out of the blue.
Yeah.
She might be there with her new boyfriend. and
Yeah.
stuff. He comes in with a humidifier.
Dehumidifier.
Do you know that's always a
Dehumidifier.
cheap
I mean, if he
excuse,
came in,
isn't
he
it,
would
as
be
well?
the humidifier, wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Tension in the air, and he'd go, "I've got just the thing for this."
Well, if she cried, at least he's got the dehumidifier. It could dry her out in a treat.
I've had an ex saying that, hi, I've got your denim jacket. So it's all right, keep it.
Oh,
I don't
they
want
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
They do that.
Give
yeah.
it to your new girlfriend. No, I don't think it'll fit.
I just send full postal address.
Do you? Yeah, I said post it to me.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Never
You
got it. Why?
don't look back when it comes to dehumidifiers.
There's also a weird thing when you get given money back that was originally yours. You then feel like it's free money, like it's spending money. Suddenly you're going, "Yay! I can spend." I might not have been mean to spend it 4 years ago or whatever it was.
You'd
but
have probably
suddenly-
spent it on something brilliant in the meantime.
Yeah, I've been spending it like a sailor on shore leave or something. I've been going crazy. Oh, the Clark's Originals I've been buying.
Oh God, is that what sailors spend on shore leave
No,
nowadays?
they
There
mainly
used to
spend-
be a lot
They
more.
mainly
salt.
spend it on tattoos and rum, don't they? But
Well,
I've been a bit less crazy.
can I say, by the way, that I had a postcard? I don't get many postcards now because the written word, the actual written word is, let's face it, it's in trouble.
It is. It's not in vogue.
But this is from Caroline, and she said, "Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, whilst walking in Shropshire last weekend, I came upon this and just had to send it. I am a long-time listener to the show, so if any of you are ever in Rains Park, I'd be happy to show you the local sites. That is all, Caroline." And what she sent me is a postcard, and it's some pictures of Shropshire, and it says A.E. Houseman's Shropshire.
Lovely.
And what I like, if you've never listened to the show before, this might be slightly confusing. But there is a rule on Absolute Radio that if you mention the poet A.E. Houseman, an alarm goes off. Only the first time you mention it, so we're all right now. But there's a little quote as well. It says, "That is the land of lost content. I see its shining plain, the happy highways where I went and cannot come again." I wish I'd used that to bring in the travel with time. It's not but timing, it's everything in this business.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've heard from John in Hereford via email.
Right.
Oh, you paused as if you were about to comment on him.
No,
We were
no,
about to
I-
play email corner, but
Yeah.
No,
we're still in it.
Is that it? I thought you were just saying.
No,
Just keeping me
I'm not
posted.
going to share with you what he said. It's between me and John.
John in Hereford.
Dear Frank, lovely Emily and Alan. Well, thank you very much. That was from John in Hereford. No, he does go on.
No, okay.
I've recently been studying my world map to memorise countries
Well, I've
ending
heard some names for it.
to memorise countries ending in stan, just in case it ever came up as a topic on Pointless.
Oh, yeah, we talked about one this a few weeks
Kazakhstan.
ago.
I was in
weeks ago.
absentia. Yeah,
Yeah.
Were you?
I was. Yeah,
Is that it? That's not far away, is it, from
it's near
Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Yes, I was on about how many countries there are that end in an Istan or
Istan,
that.
yeah.
And we had a few sent in. 'Cause it one of our better textings.
Yeah.
But I did say it could work on Pointless. What would be the most
One of our
obscure?
more Route 1 text-ins.
I do think if you spent 10 minutes a day looking at a world atlas and another 10 minutes looking at the running order and the general doings of the American presidents, you could win quite a bit of money on TV quiz shows. I think that's
Yeah.
the backbone of the TV quiz show. Geography, the American presidents.
Yeah.
You could have been a good coach to Major Ingrams.
I actually know a guy
Yeah.
who makes quite a lot of money from going on TV shows and winning quizzes.
Oh,
Yeah,
who's
that's
that?
what. Well, I can't name
Oh,
him
okay.
because otherwise he might get banned.
Okay.
Oh.
John in Hereford continues, now I can only hope that none of the 100 people they asked were listening to your show, as Turkmenistan was my best chance at a pointless answer.
That's a good. That's
It is, yeah.
you'd be gutted if that
Yeah.
didn't get pointless.
He says, I'm not going to be on Pointless and I don't intend to apply, but my dad and I compete by standing at the TV each day. No night's move.
Standing.
He says shouting. Why did I say standing? I'm so sorry, but I'm shouting at the TV each day.
I just standing. I do that for the 3D channel. It looks better close up.
No night's move, as I'm a happily coupled gay pig farmer. Many
What?
thanks.
What? As we speak?
Yes.
And also, does he mean...
And he's in Hereford, so that I have actually been to the Hereford pig auction.
I need to
So,
know.
yeah, I did go once.
Did you get anything?
No, there wasn't much there, to be honest. I had a browse.
Okay.
I had a browse of some sows.
I worked at the
Browse of
Hereford
sows.
pig auction, but I was just interviewing pigs.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, it's perfectly acceptable,
Yeah?
judging by last night's Comic Relief. Okay.
What I find weird is him saying that he's a happily coupled gay pig farmer. Doesn't that sound like he farms gay pigs?
Uh-huh.
Shouldn't it be pig farmer who is gay?
That would be.
Maybe it's the rainbow sty. That's what they call it.
It's a bit tricky,
Lovely.
isn't it? The gay. Is the money in the gay pig? Because really, you just have to slaughter them. They wouldn't breed.
Exactly. Yeah, you might only do
Yeah,
one
have a civil
generation.
partnership.
It's a very specialist area, though.
Yeah.
Is that why they're pink? Anyway,
They've just got a big order, though, with Sir Elton John and his partner, David Furnish.
yes, the producer, David Furnish.
Yes.
Yeah. What else?
Well, we can continue in email corner to another email.
This is like a bad episode of Ask Aspel.
Hello, Frank.
Hello.
So this has been directed
Oh, sorry, I thought that was you.
at yourself. After remembering your story as to whether Columbo had one eye or two, with his glass eye playing the part of a real eye,
I should back this up, that Peter Falk has got, obviously he's no longer with us. He had a glass eye. And
famously, I would say.
yes,
Yeah.
but I was never certain whether Columbo was supposed to have a glass eye as well. So did Columbo have a glass eye, or was Peter Falk's glass eye playing the part of a real eye in Columbo? That was the debate.
It's something I believe we've wondered several times. In the episode Columbo, A Trace of Murder, broadcast on Channel 5 around 3 p.m. today, brackets 9th of March, close brackets, a line in his script said, 3 eyes are better than one, in a scene about an hour in.
He's got 3 eyes, then, it turns out.
Hope that answers your question.
It's all
Keep
gone-
up the good work.
It's all gone a bit Bill Dirks.
Jude and Tony.
Do you know Bill Dirks? It's a terrible story. Bill Dirks was, he was deformed person, but he had terrible face, terrible facial deformity, and he worked in like an Elephant Man type role in the
Right.
travelling fair.
Right.
But he had one like lump on his head, which he used to paint. He used to paint an eye on it, so it looked like he had 3 eyes, and he was billed as the 3-eyed man.
Bill Dirks, the three-eyed man.
The 3-eyed man, yeah.
And as usual, the references that this show covers are really quite broad and wide,
Well,
aren't
you
they?
know, it's a difficult question, the whole is the glass eye. I mean, you know, in Up Pompeii, is Frankie Howard's wig a
Frankie
wig?
Howard's,
Or is it playing the part of real hair? I suppose every wig
Oh,
is playing
yeah.
the part of real hair.
It's one of the great philosophical questions.
It is. Take Pamela Anderson in Barbed Wire. It's too big. It's too big a question.
We've had an email, Frank. This is from Simon Oak, from Sheffield. Dear Mr. Radio, the Divine Miss M and the Cockerel, it appears I may work with the reincarnation of Peter the Wild.
Wow, big news.
Peter the Wild was George the first pet human being that he
Yeah.
kept in a. It wore a leather collar and was.
We need to widen it out for people that are newly listening to this show, don't
Yes.
we?
Yeah.
Any regular listeners will be aware he's a recurring
Yeah, he's
character.
a friend of the show.
A motif.
Simon says, I'm contracts manager for a construction company in the Huddersfield area.
Ooh, big
Brilliant.
man.
And we employ a labourer who bears too many hallmarks of Peter the Wild for him not to be at least a direct descendant, if not the latest embodiment of the man himself. Our man lives on the outskirts of Holmfirth in an old farmhouse.
Holmfirth.
You're
Oh,
kidding
I'm
me.
sorry.
Holmfirth.
In 7 years of me knowing him, he has barely uttered more than 2 sentences to me. Well, in fairness, nor is a security guard downstairs to me.
No.
In 4 years.
Or to me.
No. Hi, if you're listening.
That's away to me.
His daily dress is a boiler suit open to the navel, with his bare chest clearly visible no matter how cold or hot the weather may be. He eats a whole raw onion every day for his morning snack.
Which Peter the Wild used to do, of course. He also,
And he
if I
stared at
remember
the
right,
fire.
he used to sing songs with no words. And he used to stare at bonfires for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Anyway, he continues.
I miss him.
He has his hair cut once a year, the weekend of the local sheepdog trials. He's a lovely guy.
Oh, does he combine that? I suppose the shears are out.
Exactly.
He's a lovely guy whose skills are an absolute asset to the company, but as I'm sure you'll agree, the similarities to George I's favourite pet are uncanny. That is all. Simon Oak from Sheffield.
One of the odd things about this is that I spent some time living in a cottage on the outskirts of Holmfirth. I did.
Did you really?
Because I did it in the way back in the 80s and the 80s, 90s. I did a TV programme which we filmed at Wakefield Opera House.
Is that right?
And so I lived in I think it was a crofter's cottage,
Lovely.
just outside of Holmfirth. Yes.
Did you wear a boiler suit open to the navel? I really hope not.
Yeah, no, here come to mention it. I wore a boiler suit open to the navel, but starting at the bottom.
But then you were performing in Slipknot as well at the time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, weird.
I'll tell you what is weird is that it's taken this long for this email to come in, because having grown up not that far from that area, I would say that this description applies to about 30% of the male population of the Huddersfield area.
Well, I'll tell you, I did a gig at Wakefield Opera House, and this, how 80s is this joke I did. I said I was backstage and Lloyd Cole came in. Lloyd Cole was doing the gig that night. I
Causing
said,
information.
long black greasy hair, unshaved, and I thought it was Tanita Tickerham. Don't get any more 80s than that.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a tweet in. This is from Thayer Shakir. Thayer Shakir? I don't know, I'm sorry. Did you know Frankie Howard insisted the wig for Pompeii was put over his own wig? Big fan of Frankie and Frank. And Franny, I hope. The triumvirate.
Anne Frank, did he say? I'm a big fan of Anne Frank as well. I don't know why she didn't tour.
I think you do.
Yeah, she had that residency in that upstairs. Anyway, so, yeah, I didn't think that he actually... I know that he did that if he had to wear a wig in a show. I actually spoke to a makeup woman
Oh, really?
who said to me that it's a bit of an awkward moment because the obvious thing to do is to take off the wig he's already wearing and put the wig for the show on top of that. But you had to pretend that the wig he was wearing wasn't a wig.
Right.
And you had to put the other wig over the top of that wig. It is...
It's an extremely sensitive job, the makeup lady job on shows, isn't it?
It is for that one.
They're usually a good source of gossip about who in the industry smells.
I've
or...
never heard a makeup woman gossip in my life.
I don't believe that.
I'd love to have heard Frankie Howard sing No Limit.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. That would have been
If
marvellous.
he'd have hung around, you see, he'd have been doing that on Comic Relief now.
He would.
Think on't.
I like the idea of hanging around as a choice between as if you have that choice. Should I hang around or oh no? I choose death.
Was that by Two Unlimited, the No Limits
was,
song?
yeah.
Good.
Very well
Just,
observed.
Any pop fans listening?
They just chuck that in.
Talking of pop fans, Frank's been, you've been gigging about.
I went to the Hammersmith Apollo this week
Yeah,
to see My Bloody Valentine. Are you familiar with their work?
I am.
Language
They're not the most prolific. They release albums every 21 years or something, don't they?
Yeah, I'll be straight with you. I didn't know much about their work. My girlfriend is a big fan of theirs, so it was one of those when I was very much the plus one. But I thought it was quite an invent. What I did is I sorted these tickets out on Valentine's Day.
Lovely.
So it was a Valentine's Day gift. My Bloody Valentine. So perfect.
See what you've
Lovely.
done there. See
Yeah.
what you've done.
I'm hoping that, you know The Egg? Do you know that band? I'm hoping that they're touring over Easter.
Yeah. And for Mother's Day last week, you got her a box set of Some Mothers Do Have 'Em, didn't you?
Actually, Frank
then-
Zappa, Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention.
You're going to see Gerard Christmas, I believe, at the end of the year.
Oh, well, I mean, it's all so perfect, isn't it?
Was it a good gig? That was the...
Well, I've got to say that it's honestly one of the best gigs I've ever been to, and I've been to 5 million.
It's an understatement to say they make a din, isn't it?
Well, I will have to come back to this in a minute, but honestly, it was fantastic.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, so when you get to forgive me if you are an aficionado of My Bloody Valentine for telling you that which you already know, but that's life.
Mm-hmm.
When you get there are signs everywhere saying earplugs are available from all our staff all over the theatre. And you're very much encouraged to take earplugs.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's... so they started, and I thought, well, they are loud, but I'm all right with this. You know, I've done loud before, but it's all in. There's one song called "You Made Me Realise," and there's a sort of a passage in that lasts for about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say a fair description is, I've never laid on a train track and let a train go over me,
All right.
but it's like that. It's visceral.
Mm-hmm.
It shakes your innards. And so everyone, when it got to that bit, all around me, people started putting in earplugs. And I did that thing, you know, when Odysseus is tied to the mast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Being tempted by
and
the
the
sirens.
sirens, because if you hear the voice of the sirens, they lead you onto the rocks. And he says, no, tie me to the mast, I want to hear them. Just don't do anything I tell you to do when I say, you know, steer left or whatever. I did that. I took out my plugs
Did
Did
you?
you?
and had a listen. It was fantastic.
Did it hurt, though?
I did about 25 seconds before the blood came. But it was exciting. I think it was good for me.
I think so. I was introduced to them some years back.
Pardon?
When I...
Sorry, that was a joke.
I know it was a joke, and a very fine one.
Oh, thank you.
I was working in Our Price, doing a Saturday job. Remember Our Price?
I do remember Our Price.
I loved that Saturday job. Working in Our Price, Muswell Hill, and Manus, the Irish guy with dreadlocks who worked there, he only wanted to listen to My Bloody Valentine, so he'd put it on every time the manager would leave.
Right.
The customers didn't like it. The
No.
nice mum was coming in, and they used to come over, and the manager would tell him off and say, "I've told you, Mariah Carey this week."
Would he say bad manners?
Oh, very good. He was good. He used to have a little lie down. But no,
Oh,
I
he's good, Manus.
quite liked that album. That one about whenever it was, 30 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it was
Nearly
honestly,
banked
it was a
bankrupted.
life-changing gig for me. For a starter, I've never worked with plugs before at a gig. I've never tried, and I found I was doing a bit of mixing.
Oh,
On
yeah.
one of them, I took one out and left the other one in, and then I had them sort of hanging half in. They were suspended by my earwax, a bit like, you know when you pull one slice out of a pizza and the mozzarella goes with it. It was like that. But it was, you can make all sorts. If you put them right in, the whole music sort of strips down and separates like it's some terrible dream. So, I was having the best
Is
fun.
it a bit like listening to the radio whilst having a bath, where you sort of dip your head in and out and you get a bit of it?
How dare you ask me that?
Why is that rude?
Because I'm naked in that thought.
Oh,
You know, I
Not
don't
in
like-
my mind. I assume that you bathe in trunks. That's
Oh, well,
that's what I
like
did
nuns are supposed to bathe in swimsuits.
well, I think Greg Davis has got the answers to these questions
Yes,
this week.
he has now.
Yeah.
Oh, we've come full circle, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. That's what Greg Davis said.
Indeed. Okay, well, I think we leave it there. We're getting back to kissing. There was more kissing last night, wasn't there? Someone.
I know,
two
but I don't
men.
want to talk about that.
Who kissed last night, though, on the show? On Comic Relief? Two men? Pardon?
David Tennant,
David Tennant and
John Bishop.
John Bishop.
Oh,
I mean, come on. I'm surprised John Bishop can go back to Liverpool after that.
oh.
You know, some people, they don't like it. One of the quotes, I hate doing things from readers' comments, but I noticed that thing in the Mail. One of the readers' comments said, bloody disgusted, if you ask me. I mean, you know, it's for Comic Relief, for goodness sake. Anyway, Mark Crossley's coming up next. It's all right to say, is it all right to say that? I'm sorry if anyone's offended by the word, the B word. And what are you all giggling at? Has something happened? Oh my God, my trousers have come down. Look, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute